number 33 is x squared plus 6x. Now what you have to do is you have to make this a perfect square trinomial. There needs to be some constant term added here to make it a perfect square trinomial. That means A, you have to have 3 terms, and B, the first term needs to be a perfect square, as well as the third term has to be a perfect square. And you need this method to complete the square when you solve other quadratic equations. And the way it works is you're using the coefficient of the bx term. So in this case, the coefficient is 6. This 6 needs to be divided by 2. Always, always, always. Doesn't matter what number it is there. Whatever the b term is, or the b coefficient of the bx term, has to be divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 gives you 3. This 3 now, or this number, needs to be squared, which is 9. And 9 is what you need to add here to make this a perfect square trinomial. Now, perfect square trinomials, they factor into the same binomial. That's why they're called perfect square trinomial. So if you were to factor it, you're looking for 2 numbers that when you multiply them give you 9, but at the same time, those 2 numbers, they have to add up to 3. Oh, I said the answer, sorry, to 6.
Well, 6, yeah.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So you have an x squared, which is an x in either of those 2 binomials. And when you factor it, you always get the number that when you divide by 2, that goes into the second spot. So that is x plus 3 and x plus 3. That can also be rewritten as x plus 3 squared. So when you factor perfect square trinomials, they have to have the same factors.
Okay.
And let me do one other more one since I'm recording this. I think there was one on the quiz, but something similar to number 35. Let's do 35 first, and maybe I do 37. So 35 says x squared minus 7x. And again, you have to complete the square. You have to add some kind of constant term without any x there. This time, the middle coefficient is -7. You take the -7 and you divide it by 2. Well, that's basically it. You get -7/2. Please no decimals. What do you do with those -7/2? You go ahead and you square it and write it out like that so you can see what's going on. When you multiply two fractions, you multiply numerator times numerator, which is 49, and denominator times denominator, which is 4. Sometimes students just say 49/2, but this would be wrong. So the constant term in this case is 49/4. And when you factor it, it factors into x, and again, it factors into the value that you got when you divide it by 2. So your factor should be x minus 7/2, and then square that. Here you go. That's it.
Okay.
One more, and then I stop this recording here. Number 37 is x squared plus 1/3 x. This is some fraction action going on here. The middle coefficient is 1/3. Now, if you divide 1/3 by 2, that is nothing but saying the same as 1/3 times 1/2. Because you're multiplying by the reciprocal. That gives you 1/6. And this 1/6 now has to be squared, and the term that you need to add is 1/36. So this one got to be a little tricky here. Be careful. If you factor it, you get x plus 1/6 squared. 1/6 plus 1/6 is 2/6, which is 1/3. And 1/6 times 1/6 is 1/36. That's how one would complete the square. Let me just stop this. Okay, stop.